anybody here that we really need to focus in on this week?
Yeah, I think we should be starting Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I'm pretty bullish on him right now. And I know if you look at his start of the season, you're like, wait, it was weird. He didn't have a whole bunch of touches in week 1, but that was because it was a blowout. And this past week, he only played 43% of the snaps. But I think when you dive a little bit deeper, there's a lot to like with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's consistently being used in the passing game. He had a 52-yard run where he looked really good. And then I know the snaps are low, but there was a point in the game on Thursday night where a defender stepped right on his knee. And the rest of that drive and the drive after, CH was on the sideline. That's when Jerick McKinnon scored the touchdown. I think the way that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been playing, he has been by far their best running back, I would say, in the passing game and on the ground. And I think in a normal game, he's going to get a lot more work. So I would be starting him. I'd be trying to trade for him right now if I could as well.
I also think he's kind of a reminder to all of us not to give up on a guy after, a year or two. I know year 1 was underwhelming. Year 2, as I mentioned, he had that offseason surgery and, lost a lot of weight. Year 3, it looks like he's kind of finding his groove here. So I definitely can get down with that. Bills at the Dolphins. This might be the game of the week, at least on paper, after what the Dolphins did to the Ravens, what the Bills have done the first 2 weeks of their opponents. But I think you sit Devin Singletary in this one. One, because I can see this turning into a bit of a track meet with both teams getting up and down the field, throwing the football. And as much as I like Singletary, and I've been pleasantly surprised by his usage the first 2 weeks, the Bills really are spreading the ball around in their backfield. We saw more James Cook in week 2. Zach Moss is still there getting opportunities. And really, none of these guys are getting enough touches to really be fantasy relevant, not to mention the fact that the Bills continue to score the way they have been, continue to blow teams out, then you're just not going to see a whole lot of either of these guys. So I feel like, Florio, we can always deal with a 2-headed backfield. It's when it turns into a 3-man backfield. And I guess if you include Josh Allen, it's a 4-man backfield. That's when it gets a little bit dicey. So as much as I love Devin Singletary, I can't rock with him this week.
I'm with you. I think he's the best Bills running back, but because they use 3 and then Josh Allen could always vulture the touchdown, I think you just have to stay away. Yeah, I wrote about him as a start in this start him sit him column, and my thing was like, I had him as a start in week 2. That was my bad for not realizing it was a national televised game, because we all know what Kirk Cousins does in those games. But I feel much better about him this week against the Lions. First of all, the Lions have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to quarterbacks so far this year, and both of their games have been higher scoring affairs, which is awesome for fantasy purposes. And then Cousins just has a track record of success against them. Last year, he played him twice. First game, he threw for 275 with a touchdown, and then in the second game, 340 and 2 scores. So I trust this Vikings passing offense. I don't think the Lions are nearly as scary as a matchup as the Eagles. I would ride with Kirk Cousins this week.
Plus, we saw Carson Wentz have a big number against them. I know a lot of it came in the second half when the game was pretty one-sided, but I think if Wentz can do it, I think Cousins can do it too. Jaguars at the Chargers. Jacksonville looking a lot better the first 2 weeks of this season compared to the first 2 weeks of last season, although that bar is pretty much below ground. It's not really a hard one to clear. For me, though, James Robinson has become a must-start after what he's done the first 2 weeks of this season. And maybe I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to everybody out there listening to this show, because I drafted James Robinson, but I didn't have the guts to start him in the first 2 weeks of the year. But he's getting plenty of opportunity, and he's looked great. I mean, the way he looked against the Colts this past week, you said it, a lot of other people said it, it looked like he never tore his Achilles tendon. It looks like the same guy we saw at the beginning of last season. And so I think at this point, he is the Jaguars' RB1, and Travis Etienne has sort of become the complement back there. The Charger run defense is admittedly better this year than it has been in past years, but even then, it's still sort of an average run defense. So if you've got James Robinson, I mean, look, unless you're rocking with some weird combination of I don't know, Jonathan Taylor and Saquon, you got to find room in your lineup. Got to find room in your lineup for James Robinson.
Agreed.
This week. Yeah. Rams at Cardinals. Look, the Rams passing game starting to get on track. The Cardinals somehow won. I don't really know how they did it. I need to go back and watch that game again because it seems like a borderline miracle. But anybody of note for you in this one?
Yeah, and I know you pointed out that how much he was being used when you were watching him live last week, but I think Tyler Higbee should be started pretty much everywhere unless you have one of the elite tight ends this week. Higbee right now leads all tight ends with 20 targets this season and 96% of the snaps. So he's not leaving the field. He's being heavily involved in the passing game. He's the tight end 7 on the year. And then he gets the best possible. I know it's only 2 weeks into the season, but the Cardinals have allowed by far the most fantasy points, yards, catches, and touchdowns to tight ends. Like, they're allowing almost 30 fantasy points per game to tight ends. Some tight ends don't even have 30 points scored on the year. So that tells you how badly they've struggled against the position. And all of their games, they've allowed a lot of points as well. So I think this could be a game where, like, Cooper Kupp gets his, Allen Robinson gets his, and there's still enough for Tyler Higbee to get his.
Tyler Higbee is the number 2 target on the Rams offense by a pretty wide margin. I mean, it's Cooper Kupp, then it's Higbee, and I think like Allen Robinson's third with like 9 targets or something like that. It's a pretty sizable gap there. By the way, the Cardinals have faced, to start seeing, they faced Travis Kelce, they faced Darren Waller, and now they're going to face Tyler Higbee. That's a pretty tough row of tight ends to start the year. Falcons at Seahawks in a bird matchup. I'm going to go last week. Last week, I was not in on Cordero Patterson, and he really didn't do much. I think he just got you like 4, maybe 5 points last week. This week, I'm a little bit more in on him against the Seattle defense. They gave up a lot of yards on the ground. I know the Niners are run-heavy, and they're very effective running the football, but I think the Falcons will find a way to run the ball as well against the Seattle defense. Weirdly, last week, being in person to watch that game, there was a lot of Tyler Algier on the field, and they split their carries pretty evenly. But I still thought Patterson was effective with the football in his hands. I think he's going to get the football in his hands again. I also think this is going to be a closer matchup. Last week, the Rams kind of ran off and hid, and so I think that changed a lot of what the Falcons wanted to do. I think this is going to be closer, so you can see Patterson get more touches as both a runner and a receiver. So if you benched him last week, I think you can start him this week. Packers at Bucks, which we've talked about a couple times, is going to be weirdly a low-scoring game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, this is a kind of straightforward game, I think. I think you play the running backs on both sides, and then after that, it's a little dicey. So I do think, though, we talked about it a little bit earlier, that if Julio Jones plays, I think he is a strong streaming option just because no Mike Evans. I don't expect Chris Godwin to be out there. So on volume alone, I think Julio would work his way in as a wide receiver 2 with more upside than that. We saw in week 1, he can still play. We just need him to be healthy. And if Julio sits, I think then you can pivot to Russell Gage. I don't feel as great about that one as I do about Julio. But again, someone's going to have to get those targets. So 10-plus targets could be in play for Russell Gage. So that alone keeps him in play as a streaming option.
Man, it's going to be a weird game. I kind of want to watch it, but like watch it between my fingers like it was a scary movie or something, because it just might be it might be a little bit gross. Sunday Night Football, the 49ers at the Broncos. I say you got to just sit Russell Wilson this week, partially because the Broncos still seem to be trying to figure some things out offensively. It has not been pretty for them the first 2 weeks. I mean, I know Russ threw for a decent number of yards against the Seahawks, but it still was kind of sloppy. And then last week against the Texans, it just was a mess offensively. And I think it'll get better, but maybe not this week, because the 49ers obviously are very tough defensively. I got to believe there are better options out there for you on the waiver wire or maybe on your roster than Russell Wilson with an offense still trying to figure it out. Plus, we're still trying to wait to see exactly what's going to happen with Jerry Jeudy as he's dealing with, I don't know what it is. It started as a shoulder, then it was a rib. Now it's like a chest injury, whatever upper body issue that Jerry Jeudy is having. We'll see what his status is this week, but I'm not. Florida, I think we've seen a lot of the let Russ cook memes with like people who are, like boiling hot dogs and putting them on white bread. Like Russ cooking has not been a great option this year.
No, it has not. And I'm with you. I have him as a sit in this week's Start 'em Sit 'em article. The Niners are a tough defense too, man. So I don't love Russ. I have him outside my top 12 easily this week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it gets better, but this is not a week that I'm willing to roll the dice and take the chance on that. We are not done. We got our thirst traps coming up for week 3. Plus, we're going to look at some sleepers heading into this weekend's matchups as well. That is next on the NFL Fantasy Football Show.